The room erupted in applause the moment my parents began boasting about my brother's four-bedroom mansion. Every relative leaned in, their eyes wide with admiration, as if they were listening to a fairy tale of success. I sat quietly at the corner of the table, my glass of water trembling slightly in my hand, pretending their words didn't sting. But each proud sentence felt like a spotlight bright and burning on everything I wasn't, everything they never bragged about when it came to me. Asterisk. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss an incredible story like this one. Asterisk, I still remember that Sunday afternoon vividly. The sun was warm, the sky was blue, and the air outside our family's house carried that particular smell of freshly cut grass. It was supposed to be a simple family lunch, the kind where my parents cooked too much, my cousins laughed too loud, and my aunt complained about her knees for the 100th time. But that day turned into something else entirely. Something that left a quiet ache in my chest, the kind that doesn't hurt sharply but lingers. Like a bruise on the inside dot, my parents had invited the whole extended family over. That usually meant about 20 people crammed into our house, which was nice enough, but nowhere near the kind of place my brother lived in. My older brother, Adam, was their golden child, their pride, their living proof that they had raised someone successful. He had graduated from an Ivy League university, landed a high-paying job, married a woman from a wealthy family, and bought a four-bedroom mansion just outside the city. I, on the other hand, worked hard at my modest job, paid my rent on time, and lived in a small one-bedroom apartment that smelled like the neighbors cooking most nights. I wasn't doing badly, but I wasn't the kind of story parents love to tell. I had gotten there early to help Mom set up. I arranged the plates and polished the old cutlery she only brought out for these big occasions. Dad was outside, making sure the grill was just right. Adam's bringing Emily and the kids, Mom said with a little sparkle in her eyes, like she was announcing the arrival of celebrities. I can't wait for everyone to see the pictures of their house. It's like something out of a magazine. I nodded, trying to keep my smile neutral. She'd shown me those same pictures 5 times already. The big wooden staircase, the polished floors, the marble kitchen island, the garden with actual fountains. Adam hadn't built the house himself. Of course, he just had the money to buy it. But to my parents, it was as if every brick of it had his name carved into it. By noon, the house was buzzing with relatives. Laughter, footsteps, doors opening and closing. My cousins filled the kitchen with chatter. My aunt was already talking about her latest doctor's appointment, and my uncle was sipping his beer like it was the most important thing he'd do all day. Then Adam arrived. He stepped in like the star of the show, wearing a crisp shirt that probably cost more than my monthly grocery bill. With Emily by his side in one of her elegant dresses and their 2 little kids who looked like they'd walked out of a clothing catalogue. Mum rushed to them, her arms wide open, her voice higher than usual. "There's my successful boy," she sang out. Adam grinned, as if he'd expected exactly that. I stood near the dining table, suddenly feeling a little smaller, like a prop in a play where someone else had the lead role. My parents ushered everyone into the living room, where they'd set up the TV to display a slideshow of pictures from Adam's housewarming party. "Look at this," Dad said proudly, clicking through the photos like a tour guide. "This is the living room. 4 bedrooms. And the backyard, oh, just wait, you'll see. The room filled with oohs and ahs. My aunt whispered, "It's like a mansion." Someone else said, "He really made it, huh?" And my mother's smile grew wider with every word. Adam was basking in it too, answering questions about the house, the furniture, the location. Emily sat next to him, sipping wine, nodding politely. No one asked me anything. No one ever asked about my little apartment or my job, or the new plant I'd managed to keep alive for 6 months. My achievements weren't the kind people toasted to. They were the kind people forgot in the background noise. I told myself I didn't mind. I'd learned long ago that Adam would always be their favorite. But as I watched my father clap him on the back and say, "This is what hard work looks like," something tightened in my chest. Because I worked hard too, just in a way that didn't come with marble countertops. Lunch was served. Mom made her signature roast chicken, potatoes with herbs, and a big salad. I sat at the corner of the table, as I always did, while Adam sat at the head. My father raised a glass. "To Adam," he said proudly, "for giving us something to brag about." Everyone cheered. I laughed softly, pretending it was funny. But deep down, the words burned. After lunch, as people lounged in the living room, my parents cornered me near the kitchen. "We've been thinking," Mom began, with that careful tone she used when she was about to say something she knew I wouldn't like. "Adam has this big house now. So much space. And we were talking." My dad chimed in. "We thought maybe you could move in with him. Just temporarily, of course. You're spending so much on rent in that tiny apartment. And he has a guest room. It's a win-win." I blinked at them, trying to process the words. Move in with Adam? Into his mansion? My brother, who once refused to share a toy truck with me when we were 6. My brother, who treated me like a little footnote in his perfect life. Mum mistook my silence for hesitation. "Honey, it would be so good for you," she pressed on. "You'd save money. You could be around the kids. And it's not like he'd mind. Your family." "Did he say that?" I asked. Dad scratched the back of his head. "Well, not exactly. But he's your brother. He'll understand." I felt a cold laugh bubbling up but held it back. They weren't offering me a choice. They were presenting it like a solution to a problem I didn't even have. "I'm fine where I am," I said quietly. Mum sighed, like I was being ungrateful. "But your brother is doing so well, and well, you could use a little boost." There it was, the quiet judgment that hung between us like fog. That night, after everyone left and the house grew quiet, I sat alone in my car, hands on the steering wheel, staring at nothing. I wasn't angry at Adam, not really. It wasn't his fault. He'd become the person my parents built their dreams around. I was angry at the way I'd been made invisible in my own family's story. A few days later, Adam called me. "Hey," he said casually. "Mom mentioned something about you moving in." I braced myself. "Yeah, she told me." He chuckled. "Listen, I don't mind you staying for a bit if you need to, but it's a lot to have someone else in the house, you know? The kids are noisy. Emily likes her space. It wouldn't exactly be comfortable." There it was again, the reminder that I didn't belong in that shiny life of his. "Don't worry," I said. "I'm not moving in." He exhaled, relieved. "Cool, no hard feelings." After that call, something in me shifted. I realized I'd spent years trying to fit into a narrative where I was never meant to be the main character. I had built my quiet life on my own, no trust funds, no shortcuts, no gold stars. But I'd never given myself credit for it because no one else did. 2 weeks later, I decided to invite my parents to my apartment for dinner. They hadn't been there in years. I cleaned every corner, cooked their favorite food, and even lit candles on the small table. When they arrived, Mom looked around with polite curiosity. "It's cozy," she said. "The way people say something nice when they can't find something better to say." I smiled anyway. "It's mine," I said simply. I served dinner, poured them wine, and told them about the projects I've been working on at my job. The little victories they never heard about. And for the first time, I didn't shrink my words to make them sound less important. To my surprise, my father actually listened. He asked a few questions. Not a lot, but enough. Mom still made little comparisons here and there, but I didn't let them stick. Because I knew now that my worth didn't live in a 4-bedroom mansion. When they left that night, my mom hugged me a little tighter. "You've made a nice home," she said softly. And though it wasn't the loud praise Adam always got, it was something. A small, honest acknowledgement. I won't pretend everything changed overnight. Adam is still the golden child. My parents still light up when he talks about his next vacation or his new car. But now, I don't let it define me. I've learned to clap for myself, even if no one else does. And sometimes, when I walk into my small living room with the crooked bookshelf and the thrift store armchair, I feel a quiet pride. Not the kind that needs applause, but the kind that grows from knowing I built this life with my own hands. The world loves stories about big houses and loud successes. But some of the best victories are the quiet ones, the ones no one notices but you.